All right, so we're back here on another Couch Coach Live. Got a special guest in the building. What's going on, JB?
What's up? How you doing? Long time no see.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Long time been on the pod, but hey, man, we here.
Yeah.
What's going on, Maui?
Chilling, man. You know, another week, another.
Yes.
You know, it's funny. Everything changes every week, but to be honest with you, it's really deep down still the same. There's still some things going on. Everybody trying to be normal, but there's some major stuff still going on, and we trying to work around it. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, man. Absolutely, man. It's just like that, man. So how's y'all fellas week? I'll start with you, Maui, first.
Like I said, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, just little anecdotal story.
You know, personally, you know what I mean? You know, same old. Just get through the week, trying to figure it out. You know?
Yeah. What you, JB?
That's basic.
Same old, man. Just working and studying.
Right.
Like that's my life these days. And just all I can do. I really want to travel, but that shit is not going to happen for me anytime soon. So just work and travel. Try to learn some new skills. That's the best thing I can do in the situation.
Yeah.
So
absolutely.
Right.
Yeah. It's been a good week. Just same old doing. Working. Doing podcasting, it's doing my thing, man. Just trying to elevate the brand. So, fellas, first topic up for grabs today. Woj. So Woj was suspended on Sunday, essentially for responding to an email that was written by Missouri Senator Josh Hawley. So basically, Josh Hawley he pretty much was saying, hey, it was pretty much on the situation with the naming of the back of the jerseys.
Mm-hmm.
And he was saying, well, instead of incorporating stuff like Black Lives Matter or what have you, maybe you should incorporate stuff like what's going on in Hong Kong or what's going on like Back to Blue, pretty much those type of initiatives. So he sent that email out to pretty much the NBA, also like the big wigs like Woj. So Woj replied with this ESPN email and said, F you. And that's pretty much the reason why he's been essentially been suspended by ESPN. And essentially the free Woj moment, the free Woj hashtag has just spiraled out of control. You guys thoughts on Woj being suspended? I'm going to go with you first, JB. Your thoughts?
I mean, like, he responded with his ESPN email. Like, Chris, me and you have talked about this. Me and Deshaun, I don't think we've ever talked, because me and Chris, we talk about politics sometimes, but like, I was a bit surprised that I know why he was suspended, because he replied with his ESPN email.
Right.
But I think that a lot of this outrage is, and I hate to throw this into politics or whatever, but like, the reason why he's suspended is because Josh Hawley. What is Josh Hawley? What's his political representation? What is he?
He's a Republican out of Missouri.
He's a Republican out of Missouri, and
he's a
Republican senator. And
so
this is where I'm going to get into it. Whatever. Like, ESPN is very, very far left leaning, and look, I don't care. Like, you can believe whatever you want, so politically speaking, but I think that there is a lot of outrage because Josh Hawley is a Republican, and a lot of the players in the NBA really don't care for him because he's a Republican. And what I think would be interesting, let's flip the switch. What if, let's just say, Will Cain still working for ESPN? I'm not sure. I don't watch ESPN anymore. He
just left like 2 weeks ago. Now he's at Fox.
But let's just say if Kamala Harris had sent the email out to like all the people and Will Cain had said F you, he would have been suspended in a heartbeat and nobody would have cared. And like, here's my thing. I think that we should have freedom of speech, but by the same token, though, you can't do that on your company email. Now, if he had done this on a private email and he'd been suspended, I would have had an issue with it. But I understand why he was suspended, because he replied with his company email, and that's a bad look for ESPN.
Right. Yeah, Mal, your thoughts?
The look. Yeah, I didn't think of that. It was the ESPN email. Me personally, I feel like he should be smarter than that, and I felt like You know, he should be a lot smarter than that. And he just put FU, you know what I mean? But I still think, and I think, you know, through this situation, I think him and the NBA players and the NBA is going to get a little closer. I also think that the NBA is a little that's not smart. You know, I know that at the time, you know, everybody was, you know, Black Lives Matter and up, and that's just that. We just really, you ain't even got to do all of that. We just want to see basketball, to be honest with you. You know what I mean? If you want to do your protest, you can still do your protest however you want to do it. But really, do you really want to see people putting like these certain things in the back of their jersey? Because like, I watched one guy speak. He said, "How would you feel if somebody put, you know, 'Make America Great Again' on the back of their jersey?" You know what I mean? That ain't gonna do nothing but bring a lot of turmoil inside the league, especially inside of a bubble. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So the whole situation of having it really is for us as a distraction to deal with being in the house and give us something to watch. You know what I mean? Now back to the main subject. The guy sent the letter, and I think what he was really trying to say is that might not be a good look. How would you feel if somebody, if they, like I said, if they put "Make America Great Again," like rather than, you know, you put those type of protests or those type of things that you're saying, why not? You know what I mean? Why not you? What if people say something about, it's just more issues and what it say, if you're going to put certain things on your jersey, it might get a little out of hand. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Oh, I agree.
Rather than just promoting that, then you start seeing everybody's colors. It take us back to, what year was that when the NFL started, and I'm a Steeler, and the Steelers decide not to come out. But I think Villanova or something like that.
I think that was 2017. Yeah. 16 or 17.
Okay, 17. You know what I mean? And that messed up the chemistry. To be honest, that messed up the chemistry of that team because everybody made a decision, but he decided to do that because he didn't necessarily understand. So me personally, I'm like, why did the NBA think about it? We wouldn't be having this discussion if the NBA didn't even think of doing that. But I also think that, you know, like I said, he's probably going to be really close. It's probably cool that he see the NBA players have his back. I think it's serious too. I think everybody taking it as a joke, but he seemed like he got a little emotional, and when he put that, and it wasn't smart doing it. I didn't know that was ESPN's email, and he should be a little more smarter than that. It's just like we talk about the police. If you're going to be a police officer, you should be at a higher standard when you do things. Right. Like if I see a police officer or a military, or if you a teacher, anybody that stands, that has something, that I'm like, man, okay, if you here, you should be right. You know what I'm saying? It should be, you should have a character, you know what I'm saying, morals and this like that. And he's who he is. He's highly respected. Then he should have been smart enough to say, hey, man, you know what I mean? Because that is a senator. You feel me? Like, you know what I'm saying? And then he should have been smarter than that. So I hope he be okay, and I hope they bring him back and he can get past this. You know what I mean? And that's kind of, like I said, it's kind of cool he did that, though.
Yeah, and that's the thing. It's almost like ESPN was forced to suspend him because you're doing it on your own, on the company email. So I wasn't a part of the free Woj hashtag because in essence, that was wrong. Like, and the thing was, it fell into Josh Hawley's hand. He knows. And honestly, he don't really have a say in what they're in this. This is a private corporation. They can do whatever they want. Right. And what he did, he fell for the bait. And we all know in this climate where you're sitting in yourself, okay, let me just do something like this just to piss somebody off. And then at the timing of it all, where he's suspended now, he's probably be suspended for a week or two. And especially now with everything that's going on with the league, and he's not breaking these stories. And it's like you think about what's going on in the league now and just the fluidity of everything that's going on. Like, I mean, he's going to miss a considerable amount of time. And you got to think about it. This is the bubble situation. There's going to be breaking news. There's going to be guys leaving the bubble. Like, you know, like that dude from Sacramento. And, you know, like what happened the other day with Brody. Brody got coronavirus. He could have, you know, that's one of the things where these type of stories, and it sucks because Woj, like I was saying on another podcast on Sunday, Woj, especially as a single guy like myself, he's the reason why my phone isn't dry. Because I get Woj bombs all the time. That's the only really reason why my phone is jumping. Essentially, well, I don't get but
I got you.
My thing is this though. It'll be a situation where he'll come back in a few weeks and it's all said and done with. But I definitely huge shout out to Woj, man. It's gonna be all right. But next time when somebody do stuff like this, handle this on your own or ignore it.
Yeah, right. Because it looks like I'm sorry. It looks like to me since the 4th, things have kind of shifted, and they've got a lot of people like Steven Jackson, Sean Jackson. You know what I mean? Like, it just seemed like a lot of people who's on the forefront was speaking there. That was on the left that was speaking their opinion about things. It seemed like this last week they all have been kind of attacked and had to do some apology. You know what I mean? So it seemed like. It's almost like things have got to somewhat be balanced so we can move forward. It can't all be, you know what I mean? There has to be some conversations that need to happen. There has to be some perception, seeing things from both sides. You know what I mean? So I don't know. I think that, everything happens for a reason. I hope he comes up with something creative. And I think that through this, though, he probably going to have some people really trusting him. You know what I mean? That's going to give him a lot more information. You know what I mean? Because that was kind of when I got the story and I looked at it, I was like, oh damn, you know what I mean? You didn't even think he was that type of person to do something like that. You know what I mean? But it must have really. Did you read the letter?
Yeah, and it's funny because honestly, when I heard about it, and then everybody's like, "Oh, did you hear about the Woj bomb that Woj didn't it was an actual Woj bomb essentially from somebody else." And I seen the response from the email. I'm like, Adrian Wojnarowski, out of all people, but I mean, but it happens, the letter? Right? So what do you mean, as far as? Well, the thing is, the letter wasn't disrespectful in the sense. It was just like, why the hell are you emailing me some dumb ass like this? Essentially, right? Because he's saying, hey, maybe you guys should consider stuff like Back to Blue or everything that's going on with Hong Kong, which. We all know that's such a hot button topic. It's at a point where it's just like it was a trigger. That's just like if somebody emails you about he threw the bait, and that's how, in essence, he got suspended by saying the F you because he knew he was gonna get harassed. Because we all know that those topics that said in that letter are going to trigger people. Like
you helped their career by doing that,
right? And now we know who Josh Hawley is, essentially from the great state of Missouri. Out of Missouri.
And now we know who he is. That's in his career now.
Yeah. And Chris, I agree with you 100%. I think that there's a really good article that I would like both of you to read, and I think it's from the New York Post, and it's about politics, and it was basically, and I thought of this article with this conversation. It was when smug liberals met conservative trolls. And basically, that's what's going on in this situation. I think Josh Hawley was trolling a bit with his stuff, and I think that sometimes you can't take the bait or whatever. Stop poking the bear. Stop poking the bear or whatever. Like, I think, and I wish that more people in the climate that we're living in, they would not take the bait. Like, here's the thing. Whether we like it or not, people are entitled to their own opinions, and sometimes it's just better just to leave it alone. Like, just don't respond to everything. And we have a lot of this on Facebook now. I don't know about you guys' feed, but like on my feed, every day you have people going back and forth with each other, and I'm kind of tired of. I'm just like, yo, man, just chill out, relax, like eat some carbs, eat some carbs, and just like
it's some people, man, that just has to put constantly political stuff. And I'd be thinking to myself, why don't y'all just start a group or just put that stuff in a group? Yeah. You know what I mean? A Facebook group. And then when because when you're going through your feed, you really don't want to see a lot of that stuff. You just want to see how people's day going, this and that. You know what I mean? Like if I want like a subject, I would be part of a group. You know what I mean? And then I'll be just having those type of conversations.
But
go ahead, Chris.
Right, but like you said, and almost to go opposite of what you want to say, they do that to get a rise. Like Jamie, JB, we have former classmates that we went to school with who loves to strike the bear, and they do that for attention. They're doing it for pure attention. They can do it in their own groups and all, but you know what? They want us to talk about them. They want us to be water cooler fodder, essentially.
Right.
Oh, did you hear what such and so said?
They want to stay relevant. They want to stay relevant, and you know that's ego. It's egomania. It's egomania at its finest.
Facts.
I definitely would like to watch the interview of him and what happened, because the whole thing is we're all human beings. He could have had a stomach ache when he read it. He could have just gotten an argument. Somebody could have anything. Just like Allen Iverson when they said practice, we had to hear the story with what was really going on, and everybody takes that as a joke, but he was hurt because somebody died, and he still had to do this. When at that time, that press conference didn't mean anything to him. So I would love to see, was there something going on when he decided to go, you know what?
Oh,
no. You know?
Yeah, and Deshaun, you're right, man. Him and his wife could have gotten into an argument. Like,
anything.
He has kids. Yeah, anything could have happened. Like, I mean, like, one of his coworkers, maybe his secretary pissed him off or something. So you never know, like, because like it does, because like I'm a testament to it. Sometimes like somebody will say something to me and it won't bother me 99 out of 100 times. But if I'm having a bad day, it could be that one time where I'm just like, huh? And I just flip out. So.
Right.
Yeah.
So I've been watching a lot of political shows, and you know what I mean? Like I just started watching House of Cards, and I've been watching all these political shows, and then it's always somebody that get themselves in a bind, and then you see it, but you see it from a different perspective. You know what I mean? And you be like, oh man, you shouldn't have talked to that person, or you should have did that. But you know why, you know what I mean? So it's just gonna be interesting, because it seemed like it was kind of out of his character.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
You know what I mean?
And but yeah, man. And another story that we could have got a Woj bomb, but obviously we didn't get a Woj bomb, but we did get a bomb, but it wasn't a Woj bomb. Where Rajon Rondo is ruled out for the next 6 to 8 weeks with a fractured right thumb. You guys thoughts on the injury and its impact on the Lakers? I'm gonna put you, of course, to you, Maui, first, the resident Lakers guy here on the panel.
You love this, don't you? Is this because last week I was being nice to you last week, man? I respected you. Okay, anyway. All right. For me, you know, I felt like Rondo has always been a key. Like I remember years ago on the show when we first started, I was telling you that, and you were saying, you know, the guys on the show, I think it was both of you guys, you might have been like, man, I don't see Rondo being around 2 more years. You know what I mean? And look at it. Now, I feel bad for him because it just seemed like he can't never move forward because he's always having these knick-knack injuries. You know what I mean? Yeah. But for the team-wise, it wouldn't bother me as much if Avery Bradley was there, because I always felt like they was almost the same type of, they play almost the same, even though Avery Bradley can score a little bit more, but they bring that defense-minded. And for both of them to be out, it bothers me. But nothing can ever come easy when you deal with, you know, but I've been playing, you know, I shouldn't be saying this, but I've been playing the game, and I noticed that we have a lot of guards. And I said, you know what? I'm going to see what's going on with Quentin Cook and how he play. And the game is faster and it's a lot smoother because he is what he is. He's a point guard. You know what I mean? And he can shoot the 3 pretty well. And he can shoot, but I will, you know, I think that's one person nobody's talking about. He's going to get some minutes. You know what I mean? Then you do have Alex Caruso, and then you still got, you know, it's a lot of guys that you can even put KCP at the point if they wanted to, but we all know LeBron's going to be the main guy bringing the ball down. You know what I mean? So I think when they signed Rondo, there's always been a toss-up of he'll get hurt a lot. And it's serious because he has to get surgery, but it's 6 to 8 weeks, so there's still a good chance that he'd be able to come back. You know, and I think they made the necessary moves to keep him, you know, as kind of security, because he's also a good coach from the bench. You know what I mean? But he looked in extremely great shape. He is one player that I saw practicing, and I was like, yo, he looks like he's like 23 years old out there. You know what I mean? He even got bulker and bigger. He really, you could tell he's been working out, but you know, it hit a little hard, but I'm okay. You know, I think we have a few weapons that'll be all right. It's a lot of guards on the team.
Yeah. JB, your thoughts?
I think it doesn't bode well for them at all. I mean, I understand that they do have a lot of guards, but I think that them not having Bradley and them not having Rondo, I think that those are two big losses right there. I think Rondo gives you another person, even though I think his defense has been overrated over the last few years. Like, he doesn't measure out that good. He gambles a lot, but like, he's a very smart player. He's got a very high IQ. He's probably got the second highest IQ on the team behind LeBron James when it comes to basketball, just the way he looks at film. I think it really hurts them, and I think them not having Avery Bradley is going to hurt them. And I mean, I think potentially it's not going to hurt. It's not going to hurt them in the first round, but I think second round it's definitely going to hurt them. I'm just going to throw this out now. I know people are probably going to look at me like I'm crazy. I think that the team that they do not want to play in the second round, I don't think they want to play the Rockets. I really don't. I don't think that they match up potential. I don't think that they match up well with the Rockets, with what the Rockets want to do. I understand that they're bigger than the Rockets are, but I think that having a Rondo for that series and having an Avery Bradley on the series, just throwing bodies at Harden and Westbrook would be huge. But now potentially you won't have them in that series. And Alex Caruso, I like him. I think he's very athletic, but he's kind of inconsistent. He's an enigma. You don't know what you're going to get from time to time, and he's not a playmaker. He's a great athlete, but he's not a playmaker. And KCP, I like him as a defender, but he doesn't have that playmaking ability. And I think that with LeBron James, LeBron James is a playmaker, but you need another person on the team who can create their own shot and create for other people. And I don't think the Lakers have that now. So I think that
they got waiters, man. I think we got waiters, man. Like we got another.
Yeah, you have. But how good is Waiters going to be? I mean, like this is a guy who barely played here. Now you're asking him to come in and for him to integrate into a team. I think that's asking a lot. Yeah, they have Waiters. Waiters can definitely be a playmaker, but like, where is Waiters headed? I mean, like he had the gummy scandal. I mean, like, and I do think that Waiters is a wild card. I mean, like if he. Like, so here's my thing. I've always said this. I think that when you keep on having to say if, it's not a good thing.
They always go.
Now, if Waiters,
they always say if.
Yeah.
They always go say if, man, when it comes to LeBron, bro.
Well, no, but I'm not talking about LeBron. LeBron's not an if with me. Like, I know what I'm getting with LeBron. I know what I'm getting with AD. It's the other guys I worry about. And Rondo is one of the guys I wouldn't potentially worry about because Rondo has championship experience. So I think they'll be okay, but I do think that like if Rondo potentially misses the first two rounds and he misses part of the third round, if they make it that far, it's going to hurt. The longer the playoffs go, it's going to hurt them more and more.
I mean, I think so too. I'm not gonna lie. I think so too. I think so too. I feel like it's never been it's two guys. You know what I mean? It's AD and LeBron. And everybody else has always been a toss-up. And it's been that way since he played with Miami, to be honest with you. It's always Wade and him. It was a Kyrie and him. You know what I mean? It's always been two guys. So whoever there, they just got to do what they got to do.
Well, But Miami, those years, the first 3 years he was in Miami, he had a pretty good bench. Like the bench came up big. Like the Lakers bench, I'm just like Miami. You had Shane Battier who made huge shots. Mike Miller made huge shots from. They had Norris Cole. So I mean, the first few years in Miami, the bench was good. But I agree with you when it came to like Cleveland and it came to now, like his bench has definitely been lacking. So, but
man, have you seen those Miami games? Man, them games they should have got their butt whipped a bunch of times. It was horrible, man. Like watch, I'm like, oh man, they didn't come off as good as they should have been. You know what I mean?
Because I think D-Wade I think the first 2 years they were really good, but the last 2 years D-Wade got really old and he was hurt, and Bosh just really he was never the same Chris Bosh that he was in Toronto. But the first 2 years, those Miami teams were really fun to watch. The last they should have lost. They should have lost back. They should have lost to the Spurs in 2013. That game has been coming on a lot, by the way, on NBA TV.
Yeah,
that game
right.
Spurs. Yeah.
They've been. I don't even watch it, so they doing that too much. It's so much more NBA they could be putting on. You know what I mean? Like we have to talk to each other. Say, you remember this game? You remember? This? You know what I mean? It's hard.
And then that 2010 Lakers versus Celtics, that Game 7, I get that all the time. They use it, especially in the beginning, the beginning of the pandemic. But yeah, I think the Rondo injury is huge, and I go back. I hate doing revisionist history. It may not be as bad as us back here, back when we was in Chicago, when we lost him. Remember in 2017 when we lost him, and then that was a bad experience. But I think if you get Rondo back, we stand best case scenario maybe like September, second round-ish, right around that time. You got a shot, but like you said, and it's funny that you brought up the Houston aspect, because to me, the Houston situation bodes well because you think about they play small ball, and that's really conducive for them when they're short of so many guards and they're devoid of actually of guards, where PJ Tucker is pretty much your tallest guy in the lineup, and then pretty much a very guard centric team that lacks that type of experience like a Rondo, who has, like you said, championship experience. I definitely think it's gonna help. But all I gotta say, he better be ready for that Clippers series in the Western Conference Finals, because you're gonna have to pay up, buddy.
Oh, ain't nobody worried about you. Anyway, ain't Westbrook is it positive for COVID?
Yeah. But I think he'll be fine.
Yeah, I think he'll be fine.
What about Harden?
Harden's a mystery. I don't know. That's why Harden has been it's a mystery, because Harden didn't come. Harden's not in Orlando either. And Russ, of course he put it on his social media that he had it. Now James Harden, no one knows. That's why maybe we need Adrian Wojnarowski, essentially, so he'll kind of let us know without no one getting in trouble. Essentially,
if I'm not mistaken, because I have people personal with me, that has it, and they saying that now they're saying when you quarantine, it's not 2 to 3 weeks, it's like 7.
What, 7 weeks?
Like 7 weeks, yeah, because you gotta once you get tested positive, you got to get retested, and that could be positive too. So it could be an easy 7, at least. The patient first, like you said, they're saying about 7 weeks to quarantine now.
Yeah, which I think, and the thing with how they do NBA do it, I think once Russell gets to the bubble, in order for him to go to Orlando, he's gonna have a negative test. So what they're doing, they're going to quarantine for 48 hours. So he would have to get 2 tests back to back before he can enter the quote the bubble amongst people. So that's another thing where it's weird, where with the NBA it's a little bit more different. Long as he, because in order for him to go to Orlando, he has to be negative. And he just has to be negative for the next 48 hours. So he's going to have to be essentially quarantined in his room for 2 days.
Man, y'all think this is going to make it through?
I think so too. Yeah, it's unless you're going to have some knuckleheads like the dude from Sacramento who ordered some food. But other than that, I think it's and the crazy thing about it, he's gonna have to be quarantined for 10 days.
That's what I'm saying. That's the regular. That's what they're saying. That's like it's a lot of information not really being told.
Well, the thing is with him is because he was already in the bubble. So when you're doing something outside the bubble, you're gonna get quarantined longer.
Right.
Because
I hear what you're saying. Did he test positive?
No. But
there's a dude that's from Sacramento that tested positive.
So he did test positive?
Yeah. Because I seen something said he tested positive.
Oh, you talking about HB? No, that's Harrison Barnes.
Yeah, Harrison Barnes.
HB. But HB. We're talking about. HB is not in Orlando. It's Holmes. I forgot the first dude name.
Richaun Holmes.
Yeah, but HB good though. Nephew good.
Okay.
UNC. Anyway, but yeah, so that's and I think that's just one of the things with the bubble is that's just how it is. Like when you break the bubble, then it's like consequence to be paid. Like then you get the official quarantined. It's crazy.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of places that there's a lot of states that's saying if you go anywhere, out to state to certain places like Myrtle Beach, certain places where you come back to work, you're supposed to let them know. And you actually, if you can work from home, You can, like, I got a buddy living in South Carolina. He came to DC, and their COVID policy is you need to quarantine for at least 2 weeks. You know what I mean? So because he could work from home. So I hear what you're saying. I'm just, I just worry, like, man, it's gonna really be horrible, man, to get in there and then guys start testing positive. People start feeling certain type of way. You know what I mean? It's gonna be. Let me tell you, the whole setup. It's gonna be mental. You know what I mean? Because a lot of dudes ain't gonna be doing stuff like these are professional players, man. They got to do stuff. Oh man, I gotta have my marshmallows. I gotta do this. I gotta have my grape annihilators. Stuff that they've been doing probably since they was kids. Like, you know what I mean? Just little setups to move forward. But I tell you how this, they saying that a lot of players are playing 2K live. So, everybody out there, if you want to play, if you play live, man, with the live streams or whatever, you might get a chance to play against NBA players. You know what I mean?
Yeah, like they seem like they're having fun. Ben Simmons fishing the other day. Couple guys was playing cornhole. It seemed okay. I'm just saying we only with a week in the bubble. Check on them in September. We might have a problem, but for now,
when they get the losing, boy,
or when they get eliminated, they're probably the best feeling ever to get eliminated. And you think about it, in most years you're like, I'm a little bummed out. Just imagine like James Harden. I guarantee you, once they get eliminated, that boy leaving the bubble, he going to the strip club.
Oh yeah, I was about to say the same thing.
Right.
Yeah. Can you imagine? Can you imagine the teams get eliminated and like they like do like a championship celebration?
Right.
Yeah.
Right. They probably will, man. For real, they'll probably trashed up the room and man, they probably
what am I supposed to pay up? That's what I'm saying. What am I supposed to pay up for this if the Clippers win?
Well, we haven't decided yet. We got to wait to that because initially we thought about it in March, but obviously it was postponed. We didn't think we was gonna have a season. Then we thought about it was gonna be seedless, but 1 through 16, which I don't know where we got that from, but that just was an idea that was floating at that particular time.
Right.
But when September roll around, and we'll see. In September roll around, maybe it will be a Western Conference, and then Western Conference finals between the Clippers and the Lakers, and then guess what? We'll start that bet again.
I don't think the Clippers are gonna make it. I think it's gonna be somebody else. Probably gonna be Denver or Utah.
I don't think the Lakers are gonna make the conference finals. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
I believe that.
No, I don't believe nothing. I want to have it.
I remember y'all. You know what I mean? But I know on paper it don't look that way. But
I think just from this perspective, I think that like this layoff hurts them. I mean, like they were going to have home court advantage, and if they were potentially going to play the Clippers, they were going to have 7 home games in a series. I think it hurts them. And here's the other thing too, and I don't know if you guys listened to the Duck One podcast. They made some really good points. I think that in usual years, if a series wins 7 games, so let's say for instance, like the Lakers and the Rockets go 7 games in the second round. Let's say that happens. I would most normally favor the Lakers in a 7-game series because they would have Game 7 at home. But with it being in Orlando on a neutral site, I actually would favor the lower seeded team to win a Game 7 more now. So I think that it's just crazy, man. I think that the startup hurts the Bucks too. I really do. I think that the Bucks were in prime position. If they were in prime position, actually, they probably would have been smart money to bet on them to win the championship because they had set it up so all their players were only playing about 30, 31 minutes a game, and they were going to be fresh going into the playoffs. They don't have that advantage anymore. So, I mean, like, this is what I'm just going to say. I don't know who's going to win. The Lakers.
Yeah, we don't.
If you put money on the Lakers, I'm not going to like try to talk you out, but I think that would be smart money. But whoever wins the championship, they're going to fucking deserve it because for you to win 16 games in these conditions, it's going to be mentally tasking.
Right.
And I would not be surprised. I would not be surprised too. Like, I think that there's a chance we don't get to see the Lakers versus the Clippers. One or both of them might not make it to the conference finals because a lot of crazy stuff might end up happening. Like, there are going to be some upsets.
I just want.
I was telling. I was telling Chris that I hope that with 2K22 or whatever, that they actually bring this to the game where they're in the bubble and you get to play in the playoffs, and then your player either go tested positive for COVID, and you gotta use another person. I thought the game would be cool. He doesn't like that reference, but I thought it would be cool.
Not
I
if
love
you
playing games like that.
If you paying $60 for a game and you'll start playing hurt now. I don't live in reality.
It's a game, man. Come on, man.
Yeah,
that makes
money.
I love storylines. So that'd be a great storyline. Think about it, man. It's 1998. Michael, stop. Think about it. It's 1990. What? Michael Jordan has the flu.
Right.
You know what I mean? Anyway, let me stop. He was like, "No, I don't want that." You know?
Nah, not at all. So, fellas, a historic building came down on Saturday. The Palace of Auburn Hills was demolished on Saturday. It's been around since 1988. They had their last game in 2017 before the Pistons moved to downtown in the luxurious arena in downtown at this point. You guys' thoughts on the Palace of Auburn Hills? What are you guys' favorite moments of the Palace? Who want to go first?
Serious?
Yeah. You want to go first, Maui?
I'll go first. Are you serious?
Yes.
The battle, like, you know what I mean? The fight, the change to me. Richmond's own Ben Wallace and Queensbridge, Ron Ortez. Great, man. I remember I was in Akron, Ohio, sitting there just watching the game, because that's one thing that me and my dad would do, was just sit there, watch the game. And I'm like, yo, and it was so weird, because then when you go back in the day, anytime something crazy like that would happen, they would say, we're going to commercial. We're going to commercial. We're going to commercial. And you can just literally tell that TV was changing, because they showed everything, man. It was so chaotic. You know what I mean? But yeah, that was my favorite. If I had to think about anything else, that was my favorite.
Yeah. Your thoughts, JB?
Man, you stole my answer, man. Well, I mean, can I just say I'm not a Pistons fan, but I mean, I think that's the most.
Me neither.
I won't say it's my favorite. It's not my favorite moment, but it's like a very iconic moment, because we never.
Right.
I remember, like, literally speaking, I was at George Mason. It was 2004 when this happened, and me, Menelik, and Andrew are in the dormitory, and we're like, what the fuck is going on? I remember we were eating pizza. It was a Friday night, and like it was crazy, and I've never seen anything. Crazy. I don't think we're ever gonna see anything like that again. But I would say my favorite moment actually was the Pistons just annihilating the Lakers in Game 3 and Game 5 of the finals in 2004. So a few months. So that brawl took place in November. So we're talking about June. So I mean, because they won 3 championships, I believe. Like when they played in Auburn Hills, they won 3 championships, but the only championship they won in Detroit was in 2004. So that was a huge upset, man. Like generally speaking. Yeah, we don't see really many upsets in the finals, but that was I would say probably the biggest upset we've seen in the finals, like in our lifetime.
I believe that too.
To the Lakers,
yeah. I had a couple. I explained to you guys the Malice at the Palace, and that's crazy. Knowing things like I was just hanging out on a Friday night. It was just a normal Friday night. Me and a couple guys was gonna go and hang out, and I think at that time we were, going to the strip club, and we trying to buy some time. Then all of a sudden, we're like, yo, it's literally a fight at the game. And then what's crazy, so I remember the thing that I remember, Fred Jones. Remember Fred Jones used to play Pacers? He got clocked by Ben Wallace's brother, which coincidentally, I met him one day. I met him, in fact, when Ben Wallace used to have a summer league here. I ran into him one day. I was like, yo, I am not ever dude. It's like, how you see it up loud, like, yo, Ben Wallace's brother is huge. That's somebody I would never, ever fight. If he step on my shoes, guess what? I can go to the store and buy another pair of shoes. You slap my girl on the tail or whatever, that was the win. That wasn't that man. Stay away from Ben Wallace's brother at all costs. And I was like, whoa. This dude is huge. The 91 Eastern Conference Finals Game 4. The epic walk-off game where my Chicago Bulls won the Eastern Conference and propelled and Petty Isaiah Thomas. That, and the euphoria, and of course, as we've seen it on The Last Dance, where they had that epic plane ride where Jerry Krause, aka Crumbs, did his thug dizzle with the dance. That's just epic. It's probably one of the best games of 2020. So then 2007, this is the game 5 of the Eastern Conference Finals. With LeBron James, where he scored when he went off, pretty much scoring 29 out of the last 30 points for the Cavs. Where in essence, this is where the legend, NBA legend, began for me. Where it's like, you know what, LeBron is now affordable. Like he has the juice, quote unquote, in the Eastern Conference. When we looked at that Detroit team, it was like that hurdle. And then going back to your point, JB, the 2004 NBA Finals. And it was like that game 5 was so weird. It felt like I felt like I was in a daze. The 2004 NBA Finals with the Lakers, because it was so crazy. And it's just like, it's like the Lakers just quit. It was so it trips me out because I remember like they was getting Wallace. It felt like he was jumping like 20 feet in the air to get rebounds. It was the most. I swear, out of all the most like sports things, that was one of the ones that you're like, I can't believe I witnessed that. Because like you said, that was a colossal upset, because you got to think about it.
I remember that.
Those are 4 Hall of Famers on that team. You're essentially, you're thinking about, you're looking at, like it's arguably the top 3 scores in NBA history on that team with Kobe Bryant and Karl Malone on that team. Right. And
it was just too much.
Right. And
go ahead. It was shit behind the scenes, man.
We know that, but it just it was just at that time in 2004, did we really, our information was very scarce. Not how it is now. But just the gravity of it, and it's just like, we knew it was infighting, but not to the detail like we know present day. But
I'm with you.
Just the thing, right? But it's just one of the things where it trips you out, because it's just like you figured Detroit was going to be in the series inverse, where maybe the Lakers will win maybe in 5 or 6, and they'll give them a run. But we sit here in game 5, and they're getting annihilated. To a point where you're like, you really got to check your eyes, check your mental, and make sure, are you kidding me? Like, they have almost up by 20, 30 points on his team. In the third quarter, this game was over from the jump.
Bro, that damn Detroit team was dangerous, man. I remember that. I hated watching them, just like I hated watching the Warriors, because you could be up by 20, and 2 minutes later, you up by 12, and you're like, how in the hell did this happen? You know what I mean? Right. They were so swift and smooth, man. Oh, I couldn't stand it. But yeah, I remember that, man. I remember Fisher and Kobe crying on the side. I remember that.
It was rough.
But I was real bitter about them Lakers at that time, because the Sacramento Kings, I loved them games. You know what I'm saying? I love when the Western Conference was the Western Conference Finals with them two or something wasn't it? Oh man, I love those years.
Yeah, 2002. Yeah,
2002. Yeah.
Oh, that's right. Because that was the year that they beat Minnesota. Yeah, that's right.
Oh man, I love them years, man. I like even that. You get to studying some stuff, and you start seeing how there was some bad officiated games. They was really supposed to lose back then. But man.
Yeah. But man, definitely. R.I.P. Auburn Hills, man. It was a great 29-year run for that arena. So. Now it's going to be a development. Who knows? It could be anything. But it was a basketball hotspot that was filled with colors. Let's talk a little college football. All right. And, so there was announced the other day, I think it was on Wednesday or Thursday, that the Ivy League has canceled their fall sports for this year. So, you guys, thoughts on that, and will we have an actual official college football season or at all? I'm gonna go with JB first.
I mean, I'm not really surprised, and it shouldn't really surprise anybody because, like, the Ivy League is not a Power Five conference.
Yeah.
So, I think that there is going to be college football, but I think that you're going to see teams not out of conference schedule. I think that they're going to be playing in conference games now, just to see how many people that they let into the stands. Like, I don't think you can let 40, 50,000 people into an SEC game. I don't think you can do that. But I think that the Power Five conferences are definitely going to be. I think they're definitely going to play football in the Power Five conferences, the big conferences. But some of like the mid majors, I would be surprised if they play. I really would.
Yeah. Your thoughts, Maui?
I agree. I think it's going to be conference, more conference play. But like, for what I've seen, that like they said, a lot of the Ivy League, they're not even really there to just play sports. Those guys' plans, to be honest with you, is most likely, get higher paid jobs anyway. You know what I mean?
Doctor, lawyer. They're going to be doctors and lawyers.
Yeah.
Right. You know what I mean? They're going to do something else. So I can understand. And I commend them for that. And I feel bad for those kids that love to play, play necessary sports. You know what I mean? That's that's the thing that they love to do. Yeah. I feel bad for these people that have to make these decisions because, like us just saying that there will, I don't think it's going to be a season, but just us constantly keep saying, well, they might just play, conference. That's something positive, and maybe they can make that happen because you don't know what us fans really going to want. And by us saying that, they say, cool, then maybe we could figure out a plan to do that and make it smaller so we can still have it. But I heard some people saying that they may even think about doing a season maybe April through May. You know what I mean? A lot of people saying that it probably won't be one till 2022. And for the colleges, it seemed like they made this decision based upon the rules for the campus. You know what I mean? And it just didn't necessarily make sense. And, what Ohio State saying they're not going to tell people who's positive, right? Didn't they say something like that?
Yeah.
Stanford, they said 11 fall sports they're canceling. And I feel bad, but at least they're making the decision. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Some people are scared to even make the decisions and they prolonging it, So, but yeah, man.
Definitely appreciate you, Mo, for checking us out. Appreciate you, my brother. But all right. So I'm gonna be honest with you. Oh wow, okay, what is that? All right, I'm gonna get out of whatever this is. Okay. Anyway, I was looking something up, and of course, I don't know why the hell they do these videos, but anyway, so I was going to the Atlantic 10 tournament, and I'm going to do matter of fact, it was the night that we did the podcast on March the 10th on a Tuesday. We did a podcast, and then remember how we always reference back to that day where there was the week of fluidity. So, okay. So I'm sitting in my car on my way home from work. They're like, well, the Ivy League is going to cancel their basketball tournament. And I didn't think nothing of it. I was almost like, well, the A10, I mean, I'm following on the commissioner's tweets. They ain't saying nothing about the A10 or the big conferences. A part of me, for me, selfishly, I would love to have a college football team. I mean, a college football season. My North Carolina Tar Heels are ranked 17th in the preseason polls. This is a banner year for us. And then having a 2021 top 2 recruiting class. Like, we're only behind Ohio State. This is supposed to be a banner year for me. But in the same token, in such sports irony of me, because I feel like I get the short end of the stick when it comes to my teams. I just don't think we're going to have one. I don't think we're going to have a season. I think the fact of and across the country, I think Clemson had like 20 guys test positive.
20.
Oklahoma, Kansas State, and even my beloved Tar Heels, we had 37. And it's just to a point where I just don't think it's going to happen because I think just the nature of the sport isn't really conducive to having, that to having that type of, talking about guys breathing on each other, and we talk about something of the nature of a respiratory illness. And these guys are being huddled with each other, breathing on each other, and it's so contagious. And then you guys still think about it. These are 18 to 20 kids. Are they really going to abide by those type of parameters during the course of the week when we're talking about during just the whole period of, Sunday through Friday, essentially during those times? And the thing with me, and I think it's going to happen, I know they're going to try in their best interest. Like we might start, and I do see where they're trying to adjust, where they're having a conference, just having a conference only schedule. But I mean, a part of me, I just thought and I understand if they were to do it, it would only be the Power Five because they have more of the resources. Because they probably could do something almost like the NBA is doing, where you have like a bubble like situation potentially because they have the resources. Versus like I mean, they have resources, but not to that level where these guys are raking in billions of dollars for this conference. So yeah, if there will be college football, it would only be conference. It would be only those essentially the Power Five and then Notre Dame. But other than that, but I'm leaning, and I just know how I'm still thinking we're not gonna have a season, and I think you can really fans. You can literally eliminate them. I don't think we're going to have fans in the stands. And I think it's going to happen. I mean, you're not going to be packing out, like you said, JB. You're not going to be in, Tuscaloosa, Alabama, 50,000, 60,000, 80,000 deep. That's not going to happen. Like, you can cancel that. I mean, maybe 800 deep, 1,500 deep, but not like we would normally see.
Right. Yeah, I've been saying it for the longest, and then we're talking all these. If you study the old pandemic, we talking all this stuff and making these decisions now. It looks just like they did back in 1918. So when September, like right now, people literally having conversation about schools and how they're going to do with these elementary kids and, and what it's some strange conversations because they don't know. And then you got to think about how much money they make in August. Because people are starting to make their way to school, Yeah. It's really, really, and they don't know. And then September is going to hit, and,
right.
And from what 1918 said, the wave hit like August 15th. And that's when things start getting bad again, And I don't know. I'm trying not to say it, but inside me, I believe that's going to happen again. I think quiet is kept. I'm starting to hear, a few things.
Right.
And, though people saying they're positive, but they got a quarantine, but it's just a few things.
Right.
The second one's supposed to be worse.
And the crazy thing about it, we weren't even done with the first wave. So that makes it all the more, not scarier, but more like intriguing. Not more intriguing, more so as like, like you're saying, because if it happens August 15th, as you're saying, we'll still be in phase 1. Essentially, I mean, and theoretically,
it's weird because we're having conversation about sports. But if you want to have really conversation about a lot of things, like I work for where I work at, what I mean, and if I tell you when we get off air and I tell you some things, I'm like, this stuff is a little weird. It's like they started to put people in positions to make these decisions that don't make any sense. You know what I mean? So it almost makes you feel like ain't no something going on or something about to happen. Right. You know what I mean? But
and like you said, and if it does go to January, it'll be even better for my Tar Heels. Of course, I mean, you think about it, because then we'll have probably the best quarterback in the nation in the ACC, or the best quarterback. We wouldn't worry about Justin Fields or Trevor Lawrence because they're not gonna play in January.
Okay.
Sam Howell.
They said if they do, it would be like from April to May. And they said, but the preseason probably start like January or something like that. You know what I mean? So they said it still would be, and I think, after this whole setup, there should be people. There's some money that you got to have to pay people to really that understand this situation, to be in those positions to better plan things. Because, so it won't. So just in case you get. Just in case you get in that bind again, you'll know exactly what you need to do.
And that's why I think, like going to your point, where I think That's why when that's like as far as the Power Five, because they have those type of resources that could do that. Because now they're probably doing what they're doing now, where you think about these guys who they got double-digit cases. They're probably going to try to find a way where they can potentially find a way, and like, how can we combat that? And I think the NBA and then the basketball tournament are like they're almost like the guinea pigs, but they in essence are the standard at this point, especially the basketball tournament, which really haven't gone off with any issues. But even though it was only a week tournament, but how can you contain these guys for 3 to 4 months, especially like when you think about college, and then you add on the component of 18 to 22-year-old guys. At least professionally, okay, I can suck it up. But we're 18 to 22. Think about it. We got to remember a time in our lives when we were 18 to 22. I mean, did we acquiesce to rules? You think we would be social distancing and staying away from, companionship? Like, no.
Oh, okay.
Right.
I got a question. Let's say that they do have the Power Five. Do you think, because you see UFC's on MMA, UFC's on an island, the NBA's in a bubble. Do you necessarily think that the Power Five will mess around and like do the same thing, where they'll all be in the same campus, the same field?
And what's weird with them, because it's too many of them.
Yeah,
it would work.
That's a problem.
Yeah, and that's the thing with football. They're actually kind of better off being on their isolated campuses and taking a bus trip to these places. Which that's why I think they're trying to lean towards a conference. Because like if you're in your conference, hell, don't even go on a plane. Just sanitize that bus, and just and third. And if they do have to stay in a room, they essentially you don't have to stay in a room for only a day. Versus, and that I think that's doable. I think that's what the NFL I think is going to be successful, because with the NFL, you just travel on Saturday, you just spend the night there one night, and then you check out before the game, and then you go straight home after the game.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. So yeah, Deshaun, you made a really good point. Like, I think it's gonna be really hard. Like, it'll be harder in football. I think with basketball, I think with baseball, and I think with ice hockey, you can do it because there aren't that many people on the team. But especially with college football, it'll be tough for you to put everybody in a bubble or whatever. I think, like Chris said, you're better off just staying on your campus and then traveling for college football, traveling on a Friday and then coming back on Saturday. I think you're better off doing that.
Yeah, because it's gonna. I hear you. It's gonna, for you to have it. It has to be some type of isolation if you're gonna have it. They can't be going to a lot of different places, and you need to be around like the same people. You understand that, right? And social distancing and all that.
Yeah,
and I think that one day travel thing will work for them, because it's only look, if you can't have the discipline to just stay your ass in a room for one night, you don't even need to be in college. One night. We talking about 3-4 months like we're requiring these NBA guys.
Football players, man.
I know. I'm talking about
they be wilding.
Road etiquette. That's
right.
Trust me. There's a road etiquette. You just need to stay in your room. Now Sunday through Thursday before they travel. Oh yeah, now we're having the issue like, all right, don't be smooching, and don't be doing such and so. I don't want to sound like an old guy, but
I got you.
And that's another thing too, where I think, because I know they were even tossing around the fact of maybe we'll have these guys, they'll just be in their own little quote unquote bubble on campus where they'll be taking virtual classes and they essentially don't leave the room. But like you're saying,
that's what I was thinking.
These guys are 18. Like you said, we're expecting 18 to 22-year-old guys to just essentially go to school, take classes, don't go nowhere, don't go to no bar or don't go to somewhere, like, come on now.
I hear you, but we that's what I'm saying. I think you're gonna think that way, but you gotta understand it's a pandemic. You know what I'm saying? Like, and if you know what I'm saying, like, you have to understand this is not just. You know what I mean? But they got to. You know what I'm saying? This is not just. This is it's very, very.
Right. But you
very, very, very important.
Right, but you got to think about it. Look at our age. We're we could be these children, these kids, these student athletes' fathers. So of course, we understand the enormity of the situation, but we got to really sit down and think to ourselves. We got to go back to when we were 18 and 22 years old.
Yeah, I got you. And I'm thinking that way. Right.
And that's the thing.
Right.
Of course, we can say it because you think about it. We're wiser. We know if we throw caution to the wind, we gonna fall. Those 18 and 22-year-old kids, they're just like, okay, well, everybody else get it. Like, certain people get it and they feel okay. So of course they're gonna be like, I'm gonna risk it all. If such as it's so. If my I don't know what you would call her, my little companion on campus, and hey, she's having a little party with her friends, such and so, and we're not wearing masks, we're gonna be okay. I'm just saying.
Yeah, we're saying that. And I'm with you. I am with you 100%. I'm with you 100%.
Yeah, no, of course, I agree with you, man. I think that it's gonna be you're asking a lot for kids because. Let's just be honest, man. I think that when you're that age, and even people our age have problems with self-control, and I think that it's even worse when you're younger. You're a bit immature, so like I get what you're saying. Now, some people are not going to have that problem, but some of them definitely will have that problem.
Yeah, I'm with you. I understand. I see it. I'm with you.
Which in this case is going to affect those because like you're saying. You can do all you can. You can be the protective one, and then you get caught up with the one that's reckless, and that reckless one can get you sick. And that's another component to it all. This ain't a situation where it's just a you problem. Oh, James, if you do this, such and so, whoever, you go and be with that young lady. That young lady might give you something, but that's you. Just imagine having something like this, and it affects everybody. It can affect the whole entire team. It can affect your roommate. It can affect your 65-year-old defensive lineman coach. It can, it can affect, this one thing.
I think that's those questions. Those questions are going to come, man. You know what I mean? For them, and I know that the people that have to make the decision, they're thinking about that. You know what I mean? And they've got to be thinking about that. You know what I mean? That we can get it started, but then how are we going to do it? I do think that they're watching the UFC and they're watching the NBA and how if it's going to be successful doing it the way that they're doing it. You know what I mean? And even the UFC on the island, they made it seem like it was all paradise, but it wasn't. A lot of people saying it was very uncomfortable. Same with NASCAR. With the whole Bo Wallace thing, if you really sat down and watched the information, they was like, Bo Wallace don't even go to the garage. They have everything isolated.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like everybody only can go here. You only can go there. If you work in the garage, you only can go there. You know what I mean? Right. So it's going to be interesting. I really don't think they're going to, because I think it's like just the fact that, like you saying, they on campus and then they end up getting on the bus. Actually, I'm not going to say that. The way you saying it could work, because the whole thing, like I said, when I studied 1918, it was as long as everybody really is doing some type of social distancing, basically trying to, stay doing the same things and stay away and keep yourself, you know what I mean? Things are somewhat working out, but it's when you start trying to get too comfortable and being around, a whole bunch of people and all those different type of things, that's how it's going to go over top. You know what I mean?
Right. And that's going to happen, especially when you think about it. And you think about it, if you go within a month and like everything goes good, and I think that's what's going to happen with the bubble, where, you get to a point where everything's going good, you can try to test the waters and see what's going to happen with that. But I definitely hope that we do have a college football season. I know we're not going to have any fans where, but I'm going to miss that, Keenan Memorial Stadium being cloaked in Carolina blue. But, hey, 2021, I got hope. Hey, I mean, Jamie, you understand UNC football hasn't been ranked this high since like 2015. So I'm just like, I want this to happen so bad. Like,
yeah,
I would literally put a mask on everybody's mouth at this point so we can see it. So who can have a tournament? I mean, for us to have a football season. I mean, I'm at that point, but yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, hey,
I want a football season to happen if it means that Duke sweeps UNC in basketball again.
we'll see. I don't think that's gonna happen, brother. We gonna figure that out, but I don't know. Last year, y'all got us, but hey, kick us when we down. But I'm telling you, we coming back. We like a rose out of concrete. We gonna come back. It's all good. Y'all had y'all laughs. All you and your boys, Russell and Jerome. Y'all, kick a brother when he down, but all right. But
it was all fun and games.
It was fun though.
It was all fun and games when Zion blew out his shoe and y'all fucked us because of the injury. But you know what I'm saying? Like, you know, it came back, man. You know,
hey man, but y'all got us back in the tournament though. Y'all got us back in the ACC though. Y'all got y'all come up in the ACC. Yeah, it's all good.
I was hoping there was going to be an ACC tournament because I was hoping for like the triple sweep.
But that's one person.
And you know what's crazy about that? Hey, just imagine hearing all the NBA gets canceled, Rudy Gobert gets COVID, and then we getting our ass kicked by Syracuse by like 30-some points at halftime. Like call the game off. Like for real. Like this doesn't even matter. Like we get killed by Syracuse. Like, bro, let's end this. Like this is just end it. Like this 20 minutes. This better be 20 seconds.
Like, call the game off. It doesn't matter.
Yeah. I'm just like Rocky. I'm like Rocky. When Apollo Creed was getting hit, right? When Apollo Creed was getting towel. 30 points.
Yeah.
And then Roy talking about bomb shelters and stuff. I'm like, dude, it's time to just go home. Take that trip back to Carolina, get these boys healthy, get them back to their families. But yeah, man.
That's funny. That is
last year was Last year was just it was just heartbreaking. Like, we could never get it right. Man, I used to go to work every day like pissed off. Like, did you see the game? Of course I seen the game. You look at my face. Yeah, man.
You sound like you're about to have one of those like Chappelle keeping it real goes wrong moments.
Right.
Oh my god, that's hilarious.
Yeah, man. But
especially when you know the team better than what they really are. That's horrible.
Man, I tell you, man. What a horrible year, but hey, it ended the right way, to be honest with you. To be real with you. Our streak is still alive, so hey, I'll take anything at this point. So, fellas, let's put a ball on this week's Couch Coach Live. Who gets this week's game ball? Let's do a round robin. Maui. Game ball this week.
Oh, man. Honestly, man, I didn't have nobody's, but, you know, I told you I had some things going on personally, so
yeah.
I'm going to give it to my family. You know, my uncle passed last week, and his wake is Friday. He was a twin, so I'm going to get a game ball to my uncle, Willie Little. You know what I mean? This was his twin, and he was the oldest. So, you know, I know he really good guy.
Yeah.
You know, growing up in Akron, it's not too many, like I said, gentlemen men that actually just worked and came home to their wives. And he was one of the ones. And a lot of guys who didn't want to do anything wrong, he helped them get jobs at the nursing home. So, you know, I'm going to give him the game ball. Willie Little, you know what I'm saying? R.I.P. Uncle Wilmer. You know what I mean? Love to the family.
Yeah, man. My condolences, man.
Crazy, man. 50. It only could be 50 people to the funeral, and only 10 people at a time go in. Different times, bro.
Yeah, man.
Sorry for your loss, man.
Yeah, absolutely.
Appreciate it. Yeah. Appreciate it.
All right. You get game ball, JB?
Man, I don't really have a game. I mean, I guess I can give the game ball to you for inviting me to the show tonight because I haven't been able to do one of these in a long time, and you know, just being at home, I feel like I'm going crazy because I'm like here all the time. Like I'm just going out. I want to, you know, eat some wings and watch some sports or whatever. So, but
I know, right?
But just gotta count your blessings, man, and just be thankful, man. Like as bad as you think things are, things can always get worse. So just be grateful for what you have every day. So that's how I feel.
Absolutely, yeah, man. So mine's got to go to Mike Golick Sr., man. So, of course, obviously, the Golick and Wingo show is going to end on the 31st. We're going to have a new morning show. So he's been a morning show staple since pretty much the beginning of the century, the turn of this century. So, another legendary figure in the morning game is gone. And, part of my childhood is a little bit gone, but definitely salute Golick. And a part of me, like we talked about the situation with the college football. So he'll be a college football analyst, and his contract ends at the end of the year, which we're hoping for Mike Golick's sake that, he can, be, because he's going to be the college analyst. So hopefully he stays on and for that. And I know his contract ends at the end of the year. So who's to say? I mean, he's been there since 98. So who's to say, are they going to renew or not? Which I highly unlikely is going to happen, especially if there's no college football this year. But, definitely for his case, we definitely love for him, to have his insight on the game. And, yeah, man. So final thoughts, fellas, before we leave the pod tonight. Final thoughts.
First off, man, just like I said, man, keep doing your thing, bro. I see you. You know what I mean? Jamie, I'm saying it's good for you being on here, man. You always bring good energy. And to everybody, man, keep supporting. But at the same time, man, like I said, just keep social distancing as best as you can. Just learn, keep doing what you're doing. And I know everybody wanted to get back normal, but less is more.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
So just keep it afloat, because I'm gonna tell you, a lot of people ain't talking, but there's a lot of people that's testing positive. A lot of people still going through stuff. They just not really putting it out there.
Right.
Yeah,
man. Yeah, like the Brody said, mask up. And definitely, man, a couple shout outs. Definitely a huge shout out to friend of the podcast. I got Chris LeBron of the Out the Ball podcast to have me on the podcast on Sunday night. That was a great talk. Definitely huge shout out to the guys, Mo, Jeff, and Jelani that was on the panel with me. Definitely appreciate those guys. And also Joe Glassford of the Lakers Fast Break podcast, other friend of the pod. He came on Sunday. And it looks like I'll probably be on there this weekend on the Lakers Fast Break podcast. I'll probably post some information on when I'll be there, but we're working on the time now. But probably more than likely it'll be this weekend. So definitely huge shout out to those guys. And man, Sunday is a 6-year anniversary of Couch Coach Live. So we're gonna have a little anniversary week. So I'm still in the works of trying to plan everything going on. And so next week we're gonna be throwing some flowers to Legacy Internet Radio. So be prepared, my brother.
Ooh.
Okay.
Right.
Just be prepared. That's that's one thing too, where it's gonna be a nice little journey, and we'll talk about it all next week. We'll have a couple guys coming on during the week with haven't ironed everything out quite yet, but it's gonna be a pretty good week next week. And yeah, man, I'm a first grader in this game, so so yeah. So I guess the show is a cancer essentially. I'm telling you.
What's the date? What's the date?
July 19th. July 19th, 2000.
Yeah, it is a cancer. You're on the cusp.
Yeah, I know, right? Isn't that something? But yeah, man.
Right.
So, social media fellows, where can they find ya?
Deshaun Morgan Facebook and DT Morgan 78 Instagram.
Okay. You can find me at Jamie Bailey Facebook. I don't do Instagram, so I'm only doing one social media. So,
hey, man.
Not a big social media guy.
It's all good. Hey,
I'm thinking about getting on Twitter.
Man, you gotta get on. I gotta get on Twitter. Like Twitter is like, to me, is like your bona fide news source. Like it's I love Twitter. Twitter is like the greatest thing ever. Like it's in all everything. I love Twitter because Twitter you have instant reactions, and it's just a lot better, and it forces you to be creative. 240 characters or less. And it's a great way to connect with people. And, like we were talking about the Woj bombs. Essentially, I follow Woj on Twitter, and I get alerts sent to my phone. So, like I said, that's the only reason this single guy phone is like jumping, because I get Woj bombs. So, just because of that. So, So follow the podcast on anywhere you get social media, Couch Coach Live, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Couch Coach Live. The website, couchcoachlive.com. So for JB and Maui, this is Coach. This has been Couch Coach Live. We'll see you guys next week.
Welcome.